Barstool Pick'em special tournament edition. We don't do this in the spring, but we are here to give the people what they want. I don't even know if the people want this. A few people want this. So we're here to give the few people what they want. Let's just hop in.
Podcast. This could be the Dave Portnoy show. By the way, I saw all the rankings. The only thing that's consistent across the Barstool rankings is my father kills. Like every time my dad's involved, it's murder in the rankings. My last show sucked.
Our rankings were the only rankings blip that we had was Bomani Jones. Barstool audience doesn't really like Bomani Jones, is what we learned from the rankings. That was our only
my last show. I might as well talking to air. Nobody listens, yes. So let's go.
And pardon my takes, holding strong in that like 30 to 40 range. I actually went to find you the other day, and you like I hurt my thumb scrolling because I was like at like 300.
Think there's some sort of technical glitch.
God, poof! The number one man.
That's because my last show tanked, like literally tanked.
Well, you did put like the two guys you already have a show with every single day.
I thought you guys had some fucking cachet.
We're not gonna plug your show. That's crazy. Yeah. All right, let's do tournament. Let's start from the top. Are you live bullets?
I was sort of live bullets last week, so I've told you what happened. I've been getting buried. I had my one hot day, and then my bookie called up and said I was betting illegally. It makes no sense. So I won one game. It was Virginia Tech against Virginia Tech, the game they won.
Oh, Virginia the one Tech, we bet. We both bet.
They're +5 or somebody.
Yeah, against like Florida State or something.
Florida State. And they ran Florida State out of the building. At Florida State, so I had Virginia Tech game, Virginia Tech over, halftime line I loved. I was watching the game. It's like they were +5 at a half when they were so much better. I bet them in the over again, went 4-0 in one game, and was told you're not allowed to bet that way. I've never heard that. Like, you can't bet that way. You can't win that much in one game, even though I've done that for the last like 6 months and given them like a second child, basically. So I got mad. They cut my limits. I was about even last week. Tournament, my favorite thing. I'm so fucking busy. I'm doing so much shit. I don't even know we're gonna watch Michigan tonight because, by the way, Michigan, it's on like
JV
True
game.
TV.
JV game.
What channel is it on?
The True TV. You guys are the JV.
I don't have that in a hotel, right? It's not JV. I don't have that in a hotel. So
it's exactly what a JV game is.
That's exactly what a JV game is. If they win, they play Notre Dame at Barclays Center. So I'm going to stay here and go to that game.
Wow. They're going to get smoked. Well, they'll win tonight. They're going to get smoked by Notre Dame.
I thought we're all like very anti Notre Dame basketball here.
I am very anti Notre Dame basketball, but I don't like you getting all high in your britches thinking that Michigan should be in this tournament. That was a gift. That was a gift to let Michigan into this tournament.
I mean, you beat Indiana, #1 seed, so. All right, let's get it.
It's a fraud #1 seed, by the way. Can we both agree?
You know what I just did? I bet 3 teams, and this is, I guess, the beginning of the show. 3 teams to win the whole thing. All right, 3 teams.
What do you have Oregon at? Because I took it as well.
They're 12-1.
I got 14. I got lucky on that.
And people, and K Marco, like I don't know when he turned into like an anti-Prez guy, but he's been in my asshole about me saying Oregon. I said Oregon like 2 months ago. So I can still say it again. And by the way, when you're betting to win the tournament, 12-1 is a sleeper. I don't care if they're a 1 seed. No one trusts them.
Because you can start hedging, which you won't do, but you can start hedging around the Elite Eight. I'll tell you one thing, real quick sidebar. There's nothing worse than being like telling someone the odds you got on something and having them blow you out the door with it. So I was playing basketball this morning, and we were talking about the tournament, just guys talking, and I was like, I got Oregon 14-1, and the guy chirps in, he's like, oh, yeah, I got Oregon a month ago at 80-1. Like, come on, motherfucker.
That's when I gave them out. That's when I gave Oregon out. So people on the other 2 teams that I took, I know Indiana lost. I think Indiana can get hot and make a real run. I took Indiana, and I took Wichita State.
Oh, Wichita State. Fuck that. Listen, Vanderbilt, I've never seen a team roll over harder than Vanderbilt rolled over last night. It was a 2-point game with 7 minutes left.
I know, but so what? They're not terrible. How do you not like Wichita State? Wichita State is nails. Who have they lost to in the tournament the last 2 years? Like Kentucky? in like a fist fight. Wichita State. They
So
still
you're
have
going to
that
take them over Arizona in the first round?
I have Wichita. Yeah, yes. Wichita State is nails. They have that Van Fleet guy who's been there for 8 years. They have that blonde kid who's still somehow a freshman who's been there for like 6 years. They're fucking good and they're battle tested.
The Indiana bet is an interesting one because you're basically saying they have to beat Kentucky and UNC.
I think they can.
I
I took three.
Listen,
I took 3 teams that I liked at the odds that I think
right.
will be there. So it's not like I'm saying, like, would it shock me if they lost? Indiana, when Indiana gets going, they have guys shooting from every part of the gym. And Yogi Ferrell can control a game.
I actually like West Virginia in that bracket. I think West Virginia would be a good. I don't know what the odds are in West Virginia, but they could absolutely. They'll beat Notre Dame or Michigan, and they could absolutely. I mean, the Xavier Wisconsin matchup, they could beat both those teams. Then you're in the Elite Eight. The only thing you're trying to do when you take these bets is you get to the Elite Eight. Then would you hedge if you got to the Elite Eight, like Oregon?
Well,
if Oregon
here's
gets
the thing.
To the Elite Eight, will you start hedging?
I can't because as much as I said this, I tried to put $1,000 on each of them, which is real money because I think Wichita State's like 5,500 or something to 1. Wichita State, I would have won 55 grand. I had a $100 limit on the bets, like it red screened me. So it's not nearly the hedge. I just did it for fun almost at that point.
That's outrageous. See, your guy is crazy. I put 500 on Oregon, which is I never do those long shots, but I just figured if I can get to the Elite Eight, I can hedge out of that. So
yeah, no, they didn't let me. I had a $100 limit.
All right, what you got? Any games circled for that you like love for the first round?
Well, what's the actual line on Arizona Wichita State right now?
It's a pick'em.
Oh, so why are you giving? What is the odds of Arizona to win the championship versus Wichita State? I guarantee it was drastically different.
I just don't like Wichita State. I just don't.
Yeah, but I'm saying that's value. If you're
from a value perspective, you're absolutely correct. It is.
I'm gonna you talk for a minute. I'm gonna look that up right now.
All right, we're bringing on Rico Bosco to the Pick'em podcast. Rico, we're tight on time, but we're ready for you to just dump your brain on us. What do you got on the tournament? Give us everything you got. Sleepers, picks, everything.
Well, what'd you guys think of the sheet? I sent you the sheet.
I loved it.
Did you really?
I did. Dave, did you open the sheet?
I don't like paying for stuff. Wasn't it like $5?
No, Dave, you got it for free. It says in the email, hey, you guys been great to me this year. This is a thank you. The only thing I said was forward it to Hank because he's an OG rider. Did anybody forward it to Hank?
I didn't forward it. To my defense, though, Rico, I haven't missed the play-in games. And you know because I'm trying to set up a time to meet. I have so many meetings. I'm fucking lost in the weeds right now. I got to go watch this Michigan game tonight. That's what I got to do.
Yeah, I can get you. Have you found the alumni bar in the city?
No. Do you know a guy?
Yeah, I can find one because the guy who does the guy who does the door at Libation is one of my guys, and that's the Wisconsin bar, Big Cat. If ever you're there.
Okay. Well, I'll be living there. Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. I mean, I already helped you out. So all right.
You go.
So you like the sheet, right? I mean, it took a long time. A lot of people, it's getting some pretty good feedback. It's like just concise. It gives you all the stats on one sheet.
Rico, real quick, I asked for the Michigan bar, and did you give Dan the Wisconsin bar?
He
That's because I know the guy right off the top of my head. I mean, I could
Dave,
find the guy, but it might be a phone call.
Dave, brother Jimmy's at Union Square. I know a guy named Google.
Oh, no, I do know somebody at the door, brother Jimmy's though, too. So, Dave,
can I cut the line? Can I drop you? If I'm like Rico Bosco, they'll just let me right in?
No, I mean, I'd have to give you my real name, but yeah, we can work it out.
We'll work it out. All right, give it to us. So I love the sheet, Rico. I've been throwing some stats around, pretending they were my own. So appreciate that.
Stealing, nice.
Yeah, I'm Clay Travising you. I actually haven't done it online though. I've just been doing it in casual conversation. I just throw a couple stats around. So I wouldn't tweet your stats out. I'm not going to do that to you. Tell us first of all, Rico. Explain to us, did you actually think Clay Travis stole the leaked bracket from you?
So what happened was I was actually out to dinner. So I was just watching the selection show and the phone was really in my pocket. Somebody sends me a text like, yo, it leaked. So obviously I didn't think I leaked it, but I have, I'm up over 10,000 now. If nobody saw it, I was just gonna get like, hey, here you go. Like, have a guy. I meant the guy text me, like, hooked me up with the bracket. But so if that guy had it, then why 3 minutes after is he sending out basically the same screenshot as mine? Like, it's just it's interesting. The guy's a fucking clown. I really can't wait to get in the same room with him.
Like, is that like a threat? Is that a physical threat?
Nah, I mean, I sent you the video clip, over there, Karen, over there. I mean, just look behind your shoulders. That's all I gotta say.
Who's Karen?
The Goodfellas, the clip of Robert De Niro being like, "Oh yeah, it's just down there. It's just down there."
Right down there, Karen. No, right there, Karen. Go ahead. And she's
Rico,
like, "Oh, Jimmy,
also,
I gotta go."
Rico, also, you hit me up with. We know we hate your boy Gottlieb, who, by the way, I think is a Barstool fan. Just as an FYI,
we had dinner with him. We had dinner with Gottlieb.
He wasn't making fun.
Hold on. You guys had dinner with Gottlieb?
Yeah.
Now you want to have me on the pick'em?
No, this is pre you.
This was you weren't even on the radar at this point. It was It was Super Bowl 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
But that thing you sent me, he wasn't being mean to me.
I don't know. Well, somebody sent it to me. I don't know. He's been.
He was saying that he was saying that's what all white guys, like white basketball players, get made fun of for like moves like that.
Well, he quoted yours and it said whatever. He's got a history of racism. I'm not a fan of his.
Actually, the dinner that we had with him, he made like a joke that was. It was a joke you don't make unless it's your closest friends.
Yeah, he's slimy, man. He's a thief. You can't trust that guy. I know he goes to the same church as half for yours, Dan, and the full church for you, Dave. He's in the tribe, but I don't trust guys like that. The thieves. I don't trust the thieves.
By the way, I'm gonna have to. You guys are gonna end up finishing. I got another meeting at 4 that sounds like it's a half an hour away, so I'm gonna have to bounce. But Rico, I want to hear your real quick, and you can dump all your knowledge. I took 3 future bets, Rico. Can I tell you who they are?
Yeah. What do you got?
Indiana, Wichita State, and Oregon.
Oregon scares me based off of efficiency. Now, you were on them a month ago. I'll give you credit before everybody.
Yeah, people are busting my balls. They were on my radar.
Yeah, they were on the radar, but I wasn't fully committed. I'll give you credit on that. You were on them a month ago. They got a defensive efficiency of 50, which says that they have an Elite 8 ceiling, but you could just hedge your way out of that. So that's pretty good. Indiana scares me a little bit because they're coached by a complete psychopath.
I think 35 to 1 is pretty fucking good.
Yeah, that's good. You can hedge. You always want to do that. I'm holding Xavier for the people listening who didn't follow me. I hold Xavier early in the year for 1 unit, 66 to 1, and I hold Kansas at 8 to 1 plus 2. And now I've like re-upped Kansas again. I bought them in a Calcutta. I got them.
You know, Bill Self's still their coach, right?
Yeah, but this. I might have egg on my face. I think this is a different team, man. Did you watch them the other? I got hosed, Dave. I sent you that clip. Of the reaction. Did you watch that?
Yeah. You know what's crazy, Rico? I was all over Kansas early, and then they went through that horrific slump, and it really scarred me. And obviously, they're playing really well, but they always play
what horrific slump? What horrific slump? They only have 4 losses. What'd they do? They lost like 2, right? At 2 out of 3.
Yeah, I mean, I watched the game. They lost. I think it was Oklahoma State by like 40. I watched the game. It was. You
gotta take every team though. You're gonna have a throwaway game in conference play. Who lost to Penn State? I'm
not disagreeing with you, but sometimes if you watch it, you're like, ooh, and then they went through a span where they were winning still, but struggling to score. So that's what's in my head, that they're going to hit a game where they like really struggle to score.
They lost 3 out of 5.
And that's
they lost 3 out of 5. Is that what it was?
Yeah, they lost to West Virginia, Oklahoma State, and Iowa State in 3 out of 5 games.
And the scoring. If you look at their totals, it was like they were scoring a lot. I was all over their overs. Then all of a sudden, they started playing. It was like they couldn't score.
They scored 63, 67. They scored 63, 63, 67, 67, 72.
So I watched that entire stretch, and it turned me off on them.
Yeah. We're bad gamblers like that. We get scarred by a couple games, and we can never get back.
Yeah. So I'm on Kansas. I do a huge Final Four pool. I'm on. We're pretty much going about 85%. Kansas is on those final four lines. Just because I have it's on the list, Big Cat. If you read it, the NFW list. So historically, I've researched it all the way to 03, but I gave out a pie chart till 08. If you follow Ken Palm, if you have an adjusted offensive efficiency, a raw offensive efficiency below 115 and above 90, you're primed for an upset, and you're not primed to make a Final Four run. The rationale behind this is that you don't do anything exceptional. So if you remember Notre Dame last year, they made an Elite Eight run because they had the second best or first best offense, even though they had 100 worst defense. If you look back historically, teams like Pittsnogle, they shoot the way all the way through. That 2013 Louisville team had a really bad offense, but they played top 5 defense. So these teams are just meddling. You know, they're primed for an upset. They don't do anything spectacular, and they usually get bounced in the first weekend. So those are the teams I try to avoid on the NFW.
What do we got for any legit sleepers out there? I know that I am a fan. I'm looking where they are right now on the. I want to see their fucking thing.
Are you buying the Cal stock?
No.
They're on the NFW list. I think it's interesting. A couple of years ago, I said Baylor was the only. I loved Baylor when they were 2012, when they were a 4 or a 3. In Kentucky, I think they were a 4. Yeah, because Kentucky was a 1. It was the year Kentucky won the title. And I said, it sucks because Baylor is the only team that can athletically match up with Kentucky, and they're in their bracket. Cal, I think, is the same way. They got 2 lottery picks, but I just don't like that they're in Kansas, and they're on that NFW list.
They're another team that will go through stretches where they just can't fucking
Right. But they're scary to me. I'm not buying the Cal stock. I think Hawaii got a favor being in Spokane. That's an interesting first-round game. The sleeper I like, based on the draw, is Gonzaga. Love Gonzaga.
A lot of people are on Gonzaga.
Seton Hall's overrated. They match up with Utah's their 3, right?
I don't think Seton Hall's overrated, but I do think Seton Hall, like, it wouldn't shock me if they beat anybody, but it wouldn't shock me.
But everybody's saying oh, Seton Hall, like, how do they get a 6? How do they get a 6? It's like, 1, they were never ranked all year. 2, name me like any huge wins they had aside from Wichita. I said it to Reeks, but he told me Wichita State. I didn't even know that off the top of my head. But they don't have any huge wins. So, and I also think it takes a lot of gas out of you to make a run like this in the conference tournament. You remember if Syracuse did that in 06. Pitt in 07, I feel like, or 08, whenever Pitt won. It takes a lot of gas out of you to run through you look at Iowa State last year. They ran through the Big 12, and they run out of gas in the tournament. So I like Gonzaga's size to match up with Utah. And I'm taking, as an 11, I think they got a real good shot to get to the Sweet 16.
Okay. I like Wisconsin, Green Bay, or whatever the fuck they're called, to beat A&M in the first round.
That's interesting. A&M, it's weird. A&M is on the NFW list. They don't do anything spectacular. But I see
Dick Vitale said they were going to make some noise. Dick Vitale did say that.
Fuck, did he? That guy's the biggest mush in the fucking planet. So now I'm worried even more. But nobody's talking about A&M. I'm very, very, very low on Texas. Very low on Texas.
Yeah, they've fallen off. They were hot. They had a nice stretch, and they've really played some really bad basketball recently.
Yeah, yeah. And are we sure Shaka Smart is the savior? You know, I'm still not buying that stock just yet. Until he makes a serious run.
I don't like Oklahoma either. I think that whole bracket kind of. That's why I like Oregon.
The West,
right.
Yeah, you might.
Fellas, I gotta go. Finish this up. Sorry, but I got fucking meeting. All right, I'll talk to you guys later.
Rico, so you said though you don't like Oregon, right?
No, it's not that I don't like them. It's just that based on if you dig real deep in their numbers, they're not necessarily championship caliber. I like Oregon a lot, especially the fact that they're out west. Baylor doesn't play a lot of defense, and Duke is horrific. I think if you remember 2011 when Duke played Arizona, I think the game was out west. Duke was a 1 or 2, and they played Arizona, who was a 3 or a 4, and they were up 1 at the half. And then Derek Williams dunked on them 55 different ways in the second half and got buried. I'm a Duke fan. But I think if Duke is there, in the Sweet 16, they're going to get run out of the gym by Oregon. Run out of the gym by Oregon. So I think Oregon's got a pretty easy route to at least the Elite Eight,
Right.
based off of that. And that bracket, you might as well throw darts. That's why I took A&M, though. You got to take. You feel bad taking all ones, So I took a flyer on A&M.
All right, let's get to we got some of the picks that you got long shot. What do you got for your Final Four?
Final Four is Kansas, A&M, Sparty, and UNC.
Okay, are you thinking that Roy Williams can stay out of the way? I mean, he stays out of the way because he doesn't make any adjustments. But are you not worried at all about that?
Well, I said it. I was on somebody else's podcast this week. I think Roy, Krzyzewski and Williams have definitely taken a step back from being like the sharpest guys. Don't get me wrong; they're still excellent coaches, but they've taken a step back. It's like the rest of the pack kind of caught up to them, maybe because they're getting a little bit older. And then somebody was talking about like that thing where Roy Williams is dancing and like laughing with the kids, and everybody made a meme out of it. Camarco put it up. But I said, in all seriousness, I bet something happened earlier this year behind closed doors where Roy just got a little bit looser. Like, the worst thing you can do as a coach is coach the team the same way every year. So I think Roy is must be either a little bit lighter on them. Maybe their practices are shortened. But the kids definitely hate him a little bit less. Because I said for a long time in January, I was like, something's wrong with these guys. They're obviously loaded, but something's up. It looks like they're broken, And I think it's fixed now. So Roy, I still think he's an excellent coach, like I said, but I'm thinking he's elevated his personal management a little bit. And I'm not so worried about the game management, I think, because everybody likes each other a little bit more, if that makes any sense. I think their chemistry is up.
All right. What else you got in terms of like little tidbits that we need to know?
Talked to a former shooting guard today, one of my guys in my circle. I asked him about Denver. He had a first-round game out in Denver. I said, everybody's saying the altitude. What do you think? He's like, listen, if you're going to run a marathon, it's probably going to fuck you up. He's like, 2-hour basketball game, I didn't really feel anything. Now, he's in great shape, and he was a guard. Maybe the big men feel a little bit less, but that altitude I wouldn't buy. I'm not buying that just as much. I think the one team, and I wanted to ask you about this because you're a Big Ten guy, the one team who's not getting a lot of slack on my sheet, I started putting the distance to the Sweet 16. And what's interesting is Purdue is like 121 miles away from Chicago when they go play Virginia. And Virginia's road game.
That's very close, yes.
Yeah, I don't have the sheet in front of me. So if you have it, isn't Virginia's road record like 5? Like all their losses are on the road? I mean, I know you could say that for a lot of teams, but like they're playing a true road game. So then are we sure Virginia can beat Purdue on the road and then Sparty on the road? Or even this, Iowa State's burned me for the last 2 years, but isn't Iowa State like a 9-iron away from Chicago too, compared to Virginia?
They are. I mean, Iowa State doesn't play defense. I don't trust them. Of
course, but now here's the thing with Iowa State. Now, again, I'm going to talk myself into it when I got burned for 2 years. I feel like an idiot. But Virginia plays from behind, and they don't necessarily, even when they're down 7, they're like, no, we got this. And it's like, dude, clock management. I mean, like, hurry the fuck up.
Oh, yeah. No, you saw it in the UNC game. They were down like 6 or 7, and they were still running their offense. Right.
Exactly. It's like, come on. So if Iowa State gets past Iona, which that game's going to be a track meet, but if Iowa State gets past Iona, and all they need is a 3-minute run of an 11-0 run or 11-2 run, and Virginia's got to play from behind, and now they're going to play that game in Chicago. The 4-5, it leans towards Purdue because Purdue's got great numbers, and Matt Painter's had some good teams. But you could take Iowa State and Purdue as the 5-4 to knock off the first one, because I'm not sold on any of the other 5-4s knocking off a 1 before in the second weekend.
I actually agree with you on that. I'm not sold on Virginia. I was saying this actually yesterday with Mark Titus. Virginia kind of reminds me a little bit of
big time. He big timed me, by the way.
What? I mean, he is bigger than you.
He is. I know. But
right. I mean, like that's legit that he big timed you, right?
I'm glad he's working with the company, but I sent out.
No, I mean, like I can't sit here and be like, oh, like Scott Van Pelt big time me, like he's bigger than. So I don't know. What did you ask him to come on a podcast?
I was just like, yo, I've been reading that guy forever. I really like his work. I was just like, yo, if you could DM me, I was gonna ask him, for a 5-minute thing, whatever. I'm glad he's working with the company. I'm a company guy.
Did you listen to it?
Yeah, not yet. I've been fucking. My job decided to be busy. I got my most amount of clients in the first week, the week of the tournament, which is gonna kill me.
Are you taking tomorrow off or no?
I haven't worked the first 2 days of the tournament since Jesus wore short pants. That's in my contract.
What do you do? What do you do for the first 2 days? Do you go to the bar or do you watch at home?
No, always at home. The bar. You end up looking away. You get less focus. Plus, the pool that we're in is so they actually let you submit your final four lines till 12 o'clock or 3 o'clock Friday. So we have I got an Excel guy who we can adjust things on the fly. It tells you how many duplicates you have. So we're always there. Once the team gets knocked out, we got to adjust. Plus, it's just a home day. It's like the Super Bowl, like you said. You always want to watch it at home. You might go out at night, but the tournament to me, the first 2 days, you should always be at home.
I do Thursday at home, Friday out at the bar.
I mean, that's fair. I'm not going to judge anybody who doesn't, but that's always my tradition. I just like being at home.
So anyway, back to what we were talking about. Mark Titus was he's high on Virginia, and I was saying that they kind of remind me of Wisconsin before Kaminsky and Decker were on Wisconsin, where you had a really good, diligent team. They played great defense. They controlled the clock. But when it came down to the last few minutes, like, what are you going to do? You had one guy who can go one-on-one, but the rest of the team is just kind of like standing there and they don't know what to do. Virginia feels like a team where if they need to get a basket late, they have that one guy they can go to. But other than that, what are they going to do?
Exactly. And I was against Villanova Virginia the last 2 years. Like you said, they just couldn't score. They couldn't score. I'm like, I want no part of these guys. I want no part of these guys. This year I was actually high on them until I saw the draw. That's what's crazy about this tournament. You could be all in on a team, and then you go, holy shit, they got the worst fucking draw. You know what I mean? So
right.
I'm all for them. Their draw based on the side. I don't see them winning the road games. I don't even think everybody wants to get them against Sparty. I don't even think it's going to happen. I got Purdue playing Sparty again.
All right. Everyone knows me as probably the biggest Villanova fan in the world. Give us your thoughts on Nova this year.
I called Francesa a couple weeks ago and told him to throw them out. The reason you throw out Nova, everybody's going to say, like, oh, they choke. Forget that. The reason that they choke is because they shoot too many threes. If you shoot over 40% of your threes, just think about it. If you're relying on the three in a high volume and you don't even shoot it that well and you don't rebound, it's 3 strikes against you. Just one day you're going to go wrong and you're not going to be there to one, hit the shots because you're already defying the odds that you've been this good. You know what I mean? You're just shooting them in volume. You don't make them and you can't rebound. And you saw that with Providence. That's why I took Providence the other night +8 against them last week because Providence just had the length. I don't like Villanova at all. I was early on. I was like, I hate Nova, but I know for a fact they're going to be in Philly, then they're going to be or in Brooklyn, and then in Philly, and I'm going to be like, shit, they're draw. You know what I mean? They're draw.
Right.
But now the fact that they got a 2 and it's in Kansas's bracket, no way. I'm off of Nova again.
All right. Any other teams that we should like really stay away from?
Yeah. Let me on the trying to think of a couple of teams that are primed for the upset. It's interesting. West Virginia, I think, is really good on that press.
Love press Virginia.
Yeah, I know. But Stephen F. Austin plays exactly to that.
Well, West Virginia is another team that they don't have any guys who can shoot. If they don't play exactly the style that they want to play, they can't win a game. They can't adapt.
Right. That game's going to be interesting. I think Stephen F. Austin could really win that game outright, honestly. But it also wouldn't surprise me if West Virginia gets to the Final Four. That's the kind of year where it happened. I know that's like the most cliche thing to say, but that's all. You look at a team, you go, they can make the Final Four, and then you're like, yeah, but they do this wrong. You know, have you ever seen a tournament like this before where there's such like risk reward on pretty much every team except, I mean, let's be honest, who do you trust overall? It's Kansas, Michigan State, and UNC. They've been pretty much the same team all year. You know,
well, that's my point. Is everyone is saying like this is the most wide open tournament of the year, or like in history. There's so many teams that can win it all. I don't buy that. I just think there's a lot of really shitty teams that have had moments of greatness, and the 3 or 4 teams that we all thought would win it all are going to be there in the Final Four.
Yeah, that's the advice I would give. Like if you got to figure Like, if you want to take a flyer on somebody to get to the Final Four, that's fine. But don't ever pick anybody to then win it. You know what I mean? Like, if you have Arizona getting to the Final Four, chances are they aren't going to win it. You know what I mean? It's just that's my advice as far as especially the bigger the bracket you get, the more chances you should take on your Final Four, too. That's another piece. Just doing it forever because everybody's going to have Kansas, UNC, any version of Oregon, and whoever the 2 is in that bracket, and then Sparty. You know what I mean? So, like, if you can be like, oh, I nailed the Final Four, but it's going to come down to the tiebreaker anyway. So you better off taking a flyer on that, especially if you have 500 people in the pool, you know?
What was your are you in like a regular pool and then a Calcutta?
I'm in everything.
Or whatever?
Yeah, I'm in everything. I'm in an auction. The guys on Twitter in the Midwest got me into a Calcutta. I know a Calcutta.
What are your teams?
I took Stephen F. Austin at 15 bucks. I took Xavier at $120. Kansas at 250.
You like Xavier? You think Xavier's gonna beat Wisconsin second round?
Yeah, I've been high on Xavier all year, so I'm not really sold on Wisconsin. They're good, and you were high on them like a month ago. I remember on one of the rundowns, you were like, they're a Final Four sleeper, you know. So, but I'm not sold. I think Xavier's just got a little bit too much talent. Seems like they're always there. Mac's a good coach. You got to remember, Greg Gard, isn't this like his first? It's not his first year as a head coach. It's his first year at a big program, right?
No, he was the associate coach under Bo Ryan for like the last 40 years.
All right, so he was never ahead. Okay, so it's his first year as a head. Right? All right, yeah. So, all right, I got the list in front of me. I took Zaga at $40, Stephen F. Austin at 15, A&M at 80, Xavier at $120, Iowa at 30, Kansas at 250, and the Pots at 3,000.
Oh, nice. That's not bad.
No, you get 16. They do lower payouts. The one I know in New York City does 51% if you win the whole thing, and Kansas went for a very large number.
I got the. Do you do squares? Do you have numbers yet?
Yeah, I'm in everything. So I'll give you the rundown. Those are my teams on in the Calcutta. I'm in a huge Final Four pool, which I've said, you know, I can't really list because we have 300 different combinations. I split it with 10 guys. That usually gets up to 300, 400,000, split 10 ways. So you're looking at like 30, 40. I'm in the boxes, obviously. Fun fact, a couple of years ago, I had 1-1, and I put it in my column when I wrote the pools. I lost, no joke, like 9 to 10 games by a basket.
That's how it always goes.
Not 5-1. I'm talking 3-1, 3-2. Like, it was insane. I'm in a survivor pool where you pick 2 the first day, 2 the second day, 1 the rest of the way.
I like those. I'm in one of those.
Yeah, Simmons tweeted one, but his is too many buybacks. This is just kind of straightforward. That's a huge payout. If you're asking on the survivor, I took the strategy on something like that is you want to take a team who you think is a lock to win the first day, but you don't see much upside down the road. And the 2 teams I took were Duke and Miami on Thursday.
Okay, like that. I think Duke sucks, so I would agree with that.
I think Duke sucks too, but I think they have a little bit more talent this year, even with a short man rotation, to at least win the first one. And I'm a Duke fan, and I've been saying to people, I told people to take Carolina in that when I think Carolina was -2 or +2, whatever the fuck. Yeah, Carolina's -2. I'm like, they're going to win this one too. I've bet against Duke a bunch of different times. I've said I'm off it. I know when to like sell the stock. I'm off at Duke. But I think they're going to win in a survivor pool. You got to take a team that's pretty safe with no upside.
The problem with taking Duke in the first round, though, is there's nothing better than a year when Duke loses in the first round.
Yeah, for the rest of America? Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's like my favorite. That's when like the whole bar roots like together, and it feels like the seventh game of the World Series.
Kentucky last year, I'm sure the whole world was rooting for you with Wisconsin. Against Kentucky in the Final Four. I didn't do the one pool I really like is the players pool where you draft. It's basically like a survivor pool. You got to kind of like fill out a bracket because you're drafting the most points scored. So, and the rules are you got to take 1 8 to 12, 1 13 to 16. Sometimes people do 5 to 8 too. So you're looking for a deep guy who can make a run. You know.
Right. Right.
What are you in? You in any crazy pools like that?
I do the I've always been in they're at the Board of Trade down in downtown. They have $1,000 squares, so I do that. I split that with another guy, and that's about it. Actually, I do a couple pools here and there, but I like to keep it pretty clean because my bets are always the ones that are what like if you do a bracket, I do a bracket. Say it's $50, $100. I end up rooting for my bet more than the bracket always.
Oh yeah, that's what guys were like. Hey, you're gonna release a bracket. You're gonna release a bracket. You're gonna release a bracket. I'm like, yeah, listen. I mean, I'll release it, but the way I operate, I'm more invested in the pools, the bets. Like the bracket to me means nothing because I'm in one bracket pool, or you like it's like going. I don't do drugs, but I'm sure it's like guys who do drugs. Like after a while, don't they elevate to like different drugs? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like bracket pools. I was doing those.
Yes.
What'd you say?
Yeah, big gateway drugs. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So bracket pools, I was running those in like the 3rd grade. I mean, I've outgrown that. I like being in the different ones, and I'm so wound up in the different pools. I end up rooting for like you have different combos of different things. You might have a team in a survivor pool, but you have against them in the final 4. You have you need a basket for the square, but you bet the under. Like you said, it's a crazy time of year.
Yep, I agree. It's the best time of the year. All right. Any other last thoughts? Any other parting words of wisdom that we can have before we get going for Thursday and Friday?
Trying to think of stuff that always comes out to me. I got a couple of guys have been telling me that the way they're looking at it, this is when the refs get evaluated, and to expect more foul calls. This kid wants to bet. He was DMing me. He wants to bet every over. He's like, I'm telling you, the refs are going to foul. They're going to call the fouls. This is when they get evaluated. I don't know if Decker touched on that. I didn't listen to Decker yet, but I heard Decker was talking about those Wilson balls.
Yeah, sorry, my dog's barking. But Decker basically said the Under Armour balls are impossible to shoot with. Now, this isn't a tournament thing because they're all use Wilson balls for the tournament. But next year, going forward, you should keep in mind, he said whenever they went to an Under Armour school, it was always very, very difficult to shoot.
Okay.
Something to think about.
Yeah. Trying to think of what else. Oh, yeah, you can always usually book this. When a just what it seems like, when a double-digit seed wins in the first round, if they're getting anything usually under 10 points, lay the wood on the other team. I remember specifically you brought up Mercer, whoever the fuck Mercer. Well, actually, Mercer was playing a double-digit seed in Tennessee, but Tennessee was so underseeded, it wasn't funny. But Tennessee, I'm pretty sure blew them out, covered that. I think they were only laying 9. They blew them out. So if a team like, let's say Green Bay beats A&M in the first round, whoever that 6 is, I don't have the bracket in front of me. Whoever that 6 is, off the top of my head, just lay the wood with them. If it's anything under like 6 or 7 points.
Well, no, because it's Texas, so bad example.
Okay, so that's a bad example. If Texas was Arizona,
I got
lay the wood with them. It's just those teams, like that's their Super Bowl, and I know they want to get up for the next game, but they're just gonna run out of gas. Is usually the way it goes.
All right. Well, let's maybe we'll do this next week as well. We'll do a Sweet 16 podcast. This was good. I actually let me give you my Final Four because I don't even think I've said it out loud yet. I got Kansas. I've got UNC. I've got Michigan State. Actually, sorry. Let me back that up. I've got Kansas. I've got West Va. I've got Michigan State. And I've got Oregon.
So you're taking West Virginia out of the UNC bracket?
Yeah, I'm taking West Virginia out of the UNC bracket.
That makes sense.
I don't love it, but I also, like I said, I can't pick like we were talking about. You can't go Kansas, UNC, Michigan State because everyone's gonna have those 3 in the Final Four.
Right, and that's why overall I'm kind of over you're just over the bracket. So you're that's the thing is you're not necessarily giving out your best picks on your Final Four.
Right.
Because like you said, you're in your head I have to adjust it. So it's like you're giving a less product anyway. So yeah, West Virginia has a big upside. That's similar to my Texas A&M. I mean, the West is where you throw darts. I like Oregon a lot again, but if you were gonna roll the dice, I would have rolled it in the West because that's a crapshoot.
Yeah, but the point is the West, rolling the dice in the West doesn't do anything for you when you're trying to differentiate yourself because everyone's got Michigan State, Kansas, and UNC.
All right, so you did a reverse trend. That's pretty smart.
Right. I mean, you can't. I don't trust myself to get all like the first rounds right. To once we get to like everyone's gonna have 3 out of 4, and it's gonna come down to who got the first round right. I usually never get that right, so. I gotta have a better Final Four. I have to have take a shot there. So we'll see.
Okay. My first against the spread pick was the over in UNC Florida Gulf Coast. I got hosed on that game under. They scored 102 points to beat me in the second half. I think UNC watching that game knows Florida Gulf Coast is going to score. We got 4 units on the over in the UNC game Thursday.
Okay, I like that. All right. Well, Merry Christmas Eve. Best day of the year. Best 2 days of the year. It's going to be a good time. We're going to probably post this tonight, so look out for it, everyone. I guess if you're listening to it, then you've already got it. So that was really stupid of me. Either way, thank you, Rico. We'll have you on next week. We'll do it again.
All right, everybody stay safe. Again, if you bet with outside your means, do not be afraid to get help. Make sure you take care of yourselves.
What's that number? What's that number?
I don't have it off the top of my head, but you could Google gamblers. There's no shame in getting help.
Agreed. Except a little bit of shame.
Yeah.